Myth number 9. We can trust the government to do what is right to protect the little guy with this new healthcare plan. How come when President Obama's administration took over GM and sought bankruptcy, one of their goals was to eliminate liability costs to GM and the government if anyone was harmed by a GM product? The government attempted to include that in their bankruptcy process. If someone was injured or killed by a defective GM car, they would not be allowed to pursue a claim anymore. Now that the government owns a large portion of GM and is directing the company, they wanted to eliminate the ability of the consumer, the little guy, to be compensated if harmed or killed. Perhaps they really don't care too much. For those that say the government is not directing GM, recall that the president has said what kinds of cars they're built, and Representative Barney Frank already directed GM to not close facilities in his district. Pretty significant directives. Myth number 10. The government program is just an option. You can keep what you have if you like it. We live in Florida and have seen this little scam already. In Florida, the state decided to provide homeowners insurance to save people from the evil, profit-mongering insurance companies. Sound familiar? Citizens Insurance was set up to offer low-cost insurance. Private insurance companies were regulated to a greater extent. Limited or no premium increases were allowed for the private companies. The state was here to protect the people. For those that think this myth expose is simply a Republican view, know that this scam was by Florida's Republican governor, Charlie Crist. So where are we now, a couple years into it? Large insurers stopped policy renewals and have left the state. Florida needs a bailout for Citizens Insurance because all parties have concluded it does not have anywhere near the resources required to cover a hurricane, should one come to Florida. Wonder if Florida could ever expect a hurricane. The premiums for Citizens, which were originally held artificially low, have now been raised 10% per year and are authorized to continue at that 10% per year for years to come. Private companies are still gone as they have. Sounds like Florida is headed to a single-payer system for homeowners insurance, and it is not going well, nor as originally advertised. President Obama is previously on record saying a single-payer healthcare system is his goal. Currently, he's saying that's not the case, but just like in Florida, with this healthcare takeover, the train towards it has left the station, and we'll get there. It just will take time. Once that happens, it will be underfunded. Our payments for it will have to increase, and when we need healthcare, the money won't be there. If there is no money, then the service has to stop or reduce. To be sure this point is clear on healthcare, the eventual result of the public option will be no option. It will become the only plan. Then when government is out of money, our taxes go up and major rationing will be here. Myth number 11. Taking over healthcare is not a power grab. Of course it is. The president has already said he does not want to take over the auto companies. They did. The banks. They did. The financial industry. They did. In the 90s, the federal government entered into the mortgage business with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Over time, they made affordable housing regulations requiring loans to those that could not afford them. Eventually, that crashed the American and world economies. Do you think issues like this are not important to you as an individual? Look where the U.S. economy and your individual financial outlook are due to things initiated by the errors of the government in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The list of takeovers and problems caused goes on. Of course, each time they say they don't want to take everything over, but they do. Deception is part of the plan. It is the process they follow. The income tax was a temporary thing way back when. How often do you see tolls removed when the road is paid for? Those in Congress trying to stop this power grab, if there are any, aren't allowed into the serious discussions. They are simply cast aside as the naysayers and critics. As I said at the beginning, the impact of the federal government taking over healthcare will be significant. Whether you are for it, and sure wonder why given the above, or against it, you need to voice your opinion to your government representatives. Being silent harms them and you by their having to make important decisions blindly. They could only guess what you want, and guessing is no way to make major decisions that affect us all. By the common man, thanks for listening. God bless you and our beautiful country. July 16th, 2009.